I'm making this video for all of my couples who basically have gone through some crisis in their marriage, or maybe they're early married, maybe they've already gone through premarital counseling, and they're now really beginning anew. I call it the second half of a relationship. It's not meaning literally, chronologically. What I mean by the second half is after you've worked through a crisis, or you're just coming together after pre-marriage counseling, and you look at each other and you look at tough times ahead and you go, will we be the couple that can make it? Like, are we going to be able to be resilient enough as a couple to make it through these really trying times? I've been able to delineate things that I think are so symbolic, so important to couples who actually are resilient enough, who can make it through. And I want to share those things with you. I want to explain what they mean a little bit. And I also want you to use this as your checklist. And when you begin feeling, I'm getting a little bit more judgy of my partner, starting to blame them a little bit, you'll know, you'll be able to go back to this video and say, okay, this is when you get off track with disagreeing well, and I've got to get back on track to be resilient and be able to make it. All marriages go through rough times. You are not going to be able to avoid those, but you can go through rough times and end up even stronger in your marriage than when you first began. So let's get started. The first of these aspects is showing up for each other. You know, we're so inundated with social media, following people who agree with us, liking, that we've almost carried that into our marriage. We've started not wanting to be around topics that we don't like. We started not being around our partner's friends that we don't like, or their family that we don't like. Showing up means you are in it for the long. And that means that you're going to go to the family functions, attend those parties out with people that you may not necessarily agree with, but you're showing up for your partner. And showing up means you are there no matter what. Even if it's at the relatives you don't care for, you show up for your partner, not the relatives. Secondly, seeing and being seen. Many times couples basically withdraw, they cut each other off, and they do this because they don't have the patience to really be seen and to see. When you are really seeing your partner, that means you are letting them fully tell you exactly how they feel without judgment. You're trying to understand, you're trying to get into their space where you understand what they're saying, you understand how they formed this perception, and you're no longer judging it, you want more of that. And you're being vulnerable too. You're telling them, this is where I think we have a disconnect. Like, it's so hard for me because this is how I was raised. And when you're vulnerable and you can see each other and be seen by your partner for who you are, you no longer have to fight against each other. You understand you both are taking part of your past with you, how you were raised, what you saw, and that's going to be for life. The thing is, the two of you are not going to attack each other. You're going to say, going forward, what we have to focus on is understanding each other's past, why this boundary is important, and embracing that for each other. When you are seen, you are vulnerable. And when you see, you allow a safe space for your partner to be vulnerable and to share their truth. Doesn't mean you have to agree. It does mean you have to understand. Next, sharing power. Sharing power is especially difficult if you've been on your own for a long time and now you're coming into a relationship, a marriage with another person. Sharing power is difficult because basically you have to give in. You have to give up. You can't have it all your way. Maybe you would have been able to do it better or different. But the bottom line is you're not going to, because it's shared power. You're not going to try and control or take over. Rather, you're going to co-lead. You're going to work with your partner. This is very important for couples who are resilient and can go the strength and length of years it takes. If you're going for marriage longevity, then you want to be able to delineate times. You want each person to know what's going on, and that helps when you share power. No one person needs to be there at all times to keep the family, to keep the marriage running, because you both know how the house works, how the family works, the rules, and what you're keeping sacred. The next one is disagreeing well. And I refer to this because I think this is a hotbed for couples. When you disagree well, it means that you aren't out for the kill. You're basically going to work together. You're going to learn how to fight fair, to handle conflict and not let it ruin your relationship. So that means that you're going to suspend ending or resolving the situation right away. Don't be impatient. Give it time to unfold and work out. Ask great questions. When you're asking questions, you're asking for more information. Doesn't mean you're trying to win them over or confront them. It means you want to understand more. You want to see them more clearly. Banishing judgment. You cannot have judgment and you cannot have shame. Do not shame your partner. That is not part of disagreeing well. Things like shame on you or you should have known better, those things are no longer said amongst couples who want marriage longevity. Instead, they say, I was really shocked that you did that, or I can't believe you did that. But you're not going to shame that. That was not what I expected. But there's no shame in that. When you shame, you point your finger and blame them, and that is not okay. Also, inviting others to come in to talk about things that you may not have thought about. Maybe at family discussions when you've already got clearance from your partner. Can we talk about this with the family? Let's see what they think. If you have a close-knit family, many times those families will help you in your disagreement and will actually benefit both of you. They may help validate what you're feeling. They may have felt the same in their marriage, and this is only going to help you. Telling the truth. When you disagree well, you tell the truth. You make yourself transparent. That's a vulnerability, and it's important. You say please and thank you. When you thank your partner, when you keep your matters, when you're appreciative, your partner is able to relax more. They feel safer, and they're more able to work through whatever dilemmas are. Taking a break. That is the last one, and it is so important. If all the two of you do is talk about your problems in your marriage, you're going to get more problems. So don't forget to take a break and have some fun. You can come back to the problem later, but those mini breaks are like little vacations. They're bonding you. They're making you stronger so you'll be able to resolve what you need to resolve. These things are so important in going the longevity part of marriage well. It's one thing to have a 50-year anniversary. It's another thing to celebrate and be grateful that the two of you were able to make it through the 50 years. Those are up and down years, but overall, it's better to do it together than alone.